Okay, now let's start that again. Welcome to Good Chats, where occasionally I even start the microphone at the start of the live stream. So that should be coming through loud and clear now. Welcome aboard, JK. Welcome aboard, Steve Klink. Welcome aboard, Ree. Welcome aboard, Plane Train Guy. Hey. And yeah, thanks for giving me the heads up on the sound. There's a couple of settings that I missed there. Whoops. Yeah, so yay, 2,000 subscribers yesterday. And now on 2016. G'day, O'Malley. Welcome aboard, mate. How did Caliph go? Tell us what was happening out there. Where were you staying? Were you staying near the old railway station, or is there a campground out there that you know about? Anyway, let's turn off this freaking confetti. Right, stop that. Enough of that. And so here we are for Good Chats. Some might call it a show. I don't even know what it is. Just an opportunity to have a bit of a chat about South Australian railways and histories is what it's kind of turning out to be a lot. Obviously, a lot of my videos now are focused on railways and transport. So what's everyone been up to this week? Oh yeah, and as usual, g'day to all the replayers, and g'day to all the lurkers as well, and g'day to any new subscribers who've come on board with this live stream thing and are thinking, whoa, what's going on here, man? Yeah, cool. Okay, stayed at the Oval. Yeah, excellent. No, it is like that out there. Yeah, very, very peaceful, especially when the wind dies down. Hopefully the wind died down for you as well, because it's a bit harsh out there in the Mallee when it's windy. So you might be wondering what's happening. Last week I said I'd be doing the stream from Tailem Bend. With a bit of Victoria thrown in, yeah, and New South Wales, and there's lots of other places on the list, trust me. What was I talking about? I'm not at Tailem Bend because the gimbal that I've got, because I have to live stream from the phone, I need a gimbal for the phone, and stupid me, I sold the first DJI gimbal I had when I upgraded to the pocket camera, and I shouldn't have. I should have kept that, because then I bought a really cheap one. You might remember I had this little black one, and I thought it was pretty good. The Moz Nano for like $25 it was really cheap, but its battery died, and also its motor has died, so that's what you get for $25. I have ordered another gimbal, another cheap $20 gimbal, so we'll see how long that one lasts, but that's not due to reach me until tomorrow. So you never know, I might go out on Friday night up to Tailem Bend for a bit of a bonus stream, fit another one in between now and the end of the year, hey? You certainly don't want to watch a live stream where it's me just with a phone without a gimbal. I think you'd probably die of motion sickness after 5 minutes or so. So hence we're back here in the studio. We'll see how we go. I'll take out this new gimbal, give it a bit of a review, and let you know whether or not this cheap gimbal is worth it. Probably not. Yeah. You've got one of the DJI OM gimbals, do you, Steve? Yeah. Well, maybe if you're interested in selling it, then we'll get together and see how we go. But who knows, mate? This $20 one off of eBay might work. I'm not hopeful. So what's in the magic window tonight? What video have I got in the magic window? What have I got loaded up? Yeah, let's play the last video, because I was going to go through that as well with a bit of commentary, as I usually do. So it's a good chance to talk through these videos as well. Then I don't have a book of the week because I wasn't planning to be here. And then I'll show you the Transport Action Network, the work in progress and the animation that I've been doing. God, it's turning into a monster. And then we're out of here. Right, okay, so... I've got the wrong way around. Go to magic window. There we go. I worked something out in this video as well. What I'll do is I'll bring it up on screen. We'll just go the whole hog now. Coleraine line branched off the Ararat to Portland line at Coleraine Junction. So it opened in 1889. Turn the desktop audio off. Services ended in 1952. Hopefully that's working. I'm just testing the sound here. Ended in 1952. Hopefully that's working. Good. Just testing the sound here. The station was restored and opened as a tourist centre in 1993, as now home. Right, well that should be working now. I worked something out. I don't know if no one's really noticed in the videos. There's a bit of a shudder in a couple of them, and I couldn't quite figure out what was going on. And then I had a big dull moment during this video where I realised I was using two different frame rates in my videos. And I know this. I've been trained in this, right? I just hadn't... I have no idea why I changed the pocket to 24 frames per second. And so I was getting this particularly around the edges, you could see a bit of a shudder in it, and I managed to find a way to get rid of it in the footage, and I've also reset the settings so that everything's shooting at 30 frames per second. Because what happens when you try and put a 24 frame per second video into a 30 frame per second composition, it stutters and makes up for it. And same if you try and put a 30 frame per second bit of footage into a 24 frame per second, there's too much footage for the second, and you get kind of a stutter there as well, where it drops certain frames. Anyway, that's really technical stuff, and I should know this, but and so this time I'm much happier. I've set it to the drone frame rate, and the drone shots are much more epic because they're so much smoother now. Here's one of the ones that I didn't fix with the shutter in it. If you look at these pans here, this is 24 frames per second trying to go into a 30 frame per second composition. And so you just get this mostly noticeable at the edges, the bit of the shutter. So I came back to this line. I'm glad I did, because I got quite a few more locations on both of these lines this time. I had the time to spend, and I knew more about the area and how to get in to some of the locations. I did miss the bridge out of one of the bridges out of Casterton, unfortunately. That does seem to always miss at least one thing that I think is important, but you know what? Everybody likes the video anyway. Some of this footage was taken in, particularly here on the Casterton line, particularly this footage. This was taken in early November. But I like to think that you don't even notice really that the footage for this video was taken a month apart, and I mix it all together. Yeah, this is my obviously promo glass that I got ages ago for World Cup, and it holds half a litre of beer, man. It's pretty damn good. Hopefully my ducking and everything's working okay and the sound is alright. Just double check I got the filters on. Yeah, I do. Good. I decided to go a lot slower with the clips in this video as well. I had a lot of awesome clips, but not a lot of narrative about the line. I've done a fair bit of research, but not being a local, obviously I don't have the behind the scenes knowledge of the line. So yeah, I spent a bit more time just getting into the images and the footage and just really doing that nice and slowly, and allowing us to spend a bit more time looking at things. This was where the Coleraine line branched off just south of here. I love the old school typefaces that they use here. Bloody herons. There's still a waiting room. A whole bunch of other stuff here talking about catching trains, but not really sure that there's any trains anymore. Pretty sure this is pretty much just a terminus now for bus and coach services. Is there a difference between a bus and a coach? I don't know. Very sad state of affairs for a railway station that's still on an active railway line, which is due to get an upgrade soon. G'day Harvey, welcome aboard mate. So yeah, this main railway line is apparently due to get an upgrade in 2025. The Ararat to Portland line. Opportunity in this video just to say as well, I'm just an explorer. I'm not a railway historian. I'm not a local railway expert in any of these areas that I visit. I've just chosen these old and abandoned railway lines as a theme for my channel, I guess. I find the architecture, the engineering, the geography, the society and culture of it all very interesting. So I'm providing just a bit of an overview and covering as much of it around Australia, at least around the areas that I can get to, as I can. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, then give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Let's keep going. The Casterton line was a 51-kilometre long branch line running northwest from the Portland main line from Branxholme to Casterton in Victoria. It opened in 1884. There were 5 wayside stations: Murndall, later Myakite, Grassdale, Merino, Henty and Sandford. Yes, I did read that too, Harvey. Thanks for mentioning it, about the Super Chook. That was run by the York Peninsula Railways, the tourist railway, and it's going to be returned to Butte. It's in a state of restoration. It's been returned to the peninsula as such. I don't know where it disappeared to or what, but And now it looks like, yeah, it's in the Wallaroo yard getting some engineering work done to it, and it's going to be placed out at Butte. So I'm really looking forward to them making the railway precinct at Butte more Butte, and I'm really looking forward to making a video about how Butte is. Cheesy, I know, but I am actually really looking forward to a Butte video of Butte. No, I don't think it'll be running again. I think it's just meant to be a static display. Well, that was my understanding of the reading anyway, so yeah. Any adventures over the Christmas break? Well, at the moment, right, this is one big house husband break where I am pretty much on break all the time, hence my video output. I'm lucky enough to be able to retain a little bit of money to afford to continue to do these as well. Now, there was something that ended up at the Big Orange. I got an image of it somewhere, and I think it was a red hen that ended up at the Big Orange. Or maybe this is all the same train and it's coming back from the Big Orange, because I remember it was for sale at the Big Orange, whatever it was. I guess maybe they've got some grants and they've bought it and they dragged it back. G'day, Graham. Welcome aboard, sir. I don't know. It's just the Super Chook, Harvey. I don't know. I don't really get into detail on the suburban trains. It starts to different engine type starts to blow my mind a little bit. I'm still trying to get my head around, getting the history of these videos right and all that stuff. And it'd be great to have collaborators though. If anyone wants to put their hand up to do half the work for the videos, then please feel free. If anyone wants to come along and help on any of the journeys as well, please feel free to volunteer. It'd be great to have somebody else to think about the camera. It'd be great to have somebody else to think about the scripting, or think about doing some of the background research and sourcing, and gaining permission to use the images. A couple of the images in this video, the Branksholm ones, I could only find online in something called the Vern McCallum collection. Now, I'm a student of copyright, right? So I know that some of these photos would be more than 70 years old, and copyright would have been extinguished. But everywhere I looked in regards to copyright across the Vernon McCallum collection suggested that permission should be sought. So I actually rang him and spoke to the guy yesterday, and got permission to use those couple of images in the video. I think it's really important that we acknowledge sources. We acknowledge that we stand on the shoulders of giants, so to speak. So a lot of my work is only doable in the way I do it because of all of these photos and all of this text and all of this information that people have worked so hard to put online, and they deserve to be credited for it. And look, creators who spend, and I'll go into something else in a minute too, creators who spend a lot of time on these things deserve a bit of cash. So otherwise we'd end up with a whole load of poor quality creative work or artwork. So people do deserve to get paid for that effort, so that we've actually got decent things to see and hear. I don't know, what do you think about all of that? I'm not a big fan of ad blockers, or because again, I work in sort of the digital marketing side of things, and it's one way for people to make money. It's one way for websites and creators again to get paid, and it's only fair that it's work, it's creative work. A lot of people maybe just think it's not like actual work, but it is. Eventually closed completely in 1970. So there's my creative rant. I just realised I'm talking over my own voice. Whoops. The railway station is architecturally significant as a substantially intact example of the Casterton style of railway buildings. This style represents a departure from the previous classical Italianate station designs to use Gothic and Tudor detailing. The stations were typically located at major points on the main lines. We don't have the WA contingent tonight. I wonder where they've gone. Pipe up if you're there, or comment if you're a replayer. End of the line at Casterton. Or is it Casterton? Well, that's it, folks, and thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Well, there you go. Now I'm going to have to find another video to put in the magic window. Give me a sec.
And thanks for joining me. We're going to take a bit of a trip
Oh yeah, that's right. The other thing that I deleted in the great deletion incident of 2 weeks ago was the folder where I collected all of the original video files that I had. I've still got all of the original video files except for the Pitchy Richie ones, but they're just now everywhere, all over the place again. Which was just south of Hamilton. Always copy paste, people, never cut paste. Welcome back to our. There we go. We'll run that one in the magic window for a while. So that video, right? It took 2 trips down to southwest Victoria, and across those 2 trips, I will have ended up making about 7 videos. But you could probably say easily, in terms of going out and back, travel, all of that kind of stuff, and if you just sort of break it all down, then you're probably still looking at, you know, about 24 hours worth of travel and filming time. And the 2 trips ended up costing me about $800 in direct costs like fuel and accommodation. And of course, out of that, I'll get, you know, 8 videos. So things can be split up in a lot of ways. Then the research, the scripting, and sourcing the photos and arranging, what's the word for it? Filing it all. It's probably 2-3 hours, 4 hours. Then the animation is about an hour now. I've managed to get the animation down quite a bit. So what are we're you know, over 32, you know, we're around 34, and then about 8 to 10 hours of editing time. So about 44 hours, that video. Conversely, the one we're looking at in the magic window now, the Tali one, I managed to capture that while we were on our way somewhere else, and put that video together in about 3 hours, right? So, but the big ones, you know, take a lot of work, and I generally lose track at about 50 hours on most of these videos. But on average, yeah, you could probably say there's, if you take your travel time, all of that kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, I enjoy the travel. I love it. That's why I do it. G'day, Max. Welcome aboard. It's work that I love, but it still is kind of work when you're not working. So yeah, probably about 3 hours per minute. 3 to 4 hours per minute on average. So if you look at a video, it's 12 minutes long. You might be looking at, yeah, anywhere from 30 to 80 hours, depending. So, yeah. I think that's probably why I wear my glasses all the time now. O'Malley is... it's not necessarily eye strain central. You should see the size of the screen I got on this laptop. It's bigger than a lot of people's computer screens, so it's not really a laptop as such, but it's a laptop. God, excuse me for a second. In 1870, the goods shed was built. Is the magic window sound coming through? I reckon it is. The station building we see today opened in 1899 with its wrought iron veranda edging identical to that of the Saddleworth, Menora, Farrell Flat and other stations along the line to Burra. It included a siding, and uniquely due to its distance from Mintaro, a station mark. If there was one railway station that I could renovate and live in, I reckon it'd be this one. It'd be Mintaro. The station was renamed Merildon. It's still in such great condition, and it's in such a beautiful remote spot. That's still actually reasonably accessible to Clare and to the Barrier Highway. right? So it's in the middle of bloody nowhere, but it's still like 25 minutes from a Woolworths supermarket, mate. So that would be brilliant. I did get in touch with the guys who are restoring Farrell Flat, and I'm keeping an eye on their progression and seeing how they go. But it'd be great to do a video in the future to go up to Farrell Flat and have a chat to the owners. They're not in a position to give people tours through and show everybody around because it is essentially a building site that they live in. But yeah, it'd be interesting to get more of the story about how these guys came to own the Farrell Flat railway station. So yeah, I haven't had a chance to... Oh, thanks for reminding me, JK. Yeah, great to go visit the cafe up there. So I could probably put that on the list for like a Christmas, New Year's limbo period visit. I'm just going to write it down. Now, I think I've been to Parta. Was there a railway station out there? I know that. Surely I would have been past it. Maybe I missed it because of the storm that was coming through when I was out there filming for that video. But I'm going to look up Parta as well, O'Malley. Anything that might be a day trip. I'd even consider something like going out and doing the Union Line and coming back in a day trip these days.
All share the same architectural style.
Yeah, so I will have been through Parta. I don't know why I can't remember footage of it or a station there, but I'm going to have to go look that stuff up now. Again, that could be one of those that covered all the Riverland lines in 3 days. And so sometimes I was just racing around and missing things. So now I've done so many lines that I'm starting to run out of lines in South Australia. I asked in the
loading crane, stockyards, and
here we
station.
go. You just sent me something.
Transferred to Australia National in 1978.
Oh no, I reckon I did. Yeah. I saw that, and it was Mulparta. That's right. Yes, so I do have that in the video. I don't remember seeing a railway station. There was an old hall out there. Long, straight dirt roads either way. I remember the place now. Yeah. Yeah, so these were kind of, thanks Max, were the kind of the sightings, and there was 0 remaining, but hey, maybe I totally missed something. And I love it when I hear about things that perhaps I didn't look behind the right bush or go down the right dirt road or something like that, hey? So now I'm getting to the point where it's really only the Hawker to Alice Springs section of South Australian Railways that I have left to cover. If we think about the SAR network, that is literally the only SAR railway line that I haven't recorded on this YouTube channel. So that will be happening next year, and I'd like to, as you well know, I'd like to include in that getting to Alice Springs along the old Garn line, or Garn, to Alice Springs, but that requires a pretty serious four-wheel drive. So anyone got a four-wheel drive, or anyone know of a sponsor who like to provide me a four-wheel drive to get up there in July next year, then great, let's do it. And so that's one of the most exciting things I've still got planned for this outdoors type project. Also, Radium Hill next year. There's some other, Rapid Bay, I think, is one that I'm going to do as well. Looks like now I might be doing a Butte video, or perhaps a bit of an exploration there. And for the technically minded, there is, in fact, one big South Australian railway line, or South Australian Railways railway line, that I haven't done yet, and that's essentially the main south line from Adelaide Station all the way up through Belair and over to Nan and Murray Bridge. So I've done a lot of these places. I've done Murray Bridge. I did a quick video on Belair to Bridgewater. I could have done better with that video. So main south line from let's say, Adelaide Station through
It included a siding
to Nan would be kind of another video that I'd like to do as well. So again, I'm just kind of waiting for the spark to strike there. There's a few really big videos rattling around on the big list of videos for next year, and hopefully I can grow this channel to a point where I can start to think about going to the Northern Rivers Rail Trail and into Queensland and looking at the Brisbane Valley Rail Trail and see whether or not I can just leverage more opportunities to get the brand out there and perhaps even get some paid work doing what I'm doing.
So it's interesting to know
The 5 mile siding from Pimba to Woomera. Hey, Max, you always come up with some of these, and there's all these sightings left, right, and centre, and there are these places that you've mentioned that I have ended up doing a year later. So thank you for mentioning that. I had no idea that there's a 5 mile siding from Pimba to Woomera, right? So a Woomera siding. There you go. I have to add that in to the 2025 desert trip. Hey. Welcome aboard, in Bretonner. Thank you for coming on board, sir. I have been out to Mount Pleasant, Graham. I did the Balhana to Mount Pleasant line very early on not very early on in the channel's history, but very early on in the project. And so, if you look back through the videos, that one is there. Again, I think I was just starting to flex some of the skills that I had with animating maps and all that kind of thing, and I think I could do it. Obviously, I could do a better job these days, but I'm going to keep the channel sort of future focused. But it also means that I can spend a little bit more time. So I've built up a fair bit of this knowledge now, and I can spend more time looking closely at places.
and Marilden all share the same architectural
Thanks, Max. That little Pimba to Woomera kind of thing is rattling around in really small print at this point in time in the big well of ideas. So next,
opened from Roseworthy to Tarlee in 18.
Don't have the Woomera line being pulled up. We're in the Budcar now. Budcar services from. I'm going to turn off the sound now because on the magic window, because that's kind of annoying. But then I'll forget to turn it on later on. That would have been cool to ride from Port Augusta to Woomera back in the days when these things were really important. Okay, so now I have to change to another source. Woomera has 4 footy ovals. Maybe we could do a collab, O'Malley, and go through some of the most remote railways and most remote footy ovals. I think a lot of people have channels, and a lot of people don't go right hardcore and get right out there into the real deal. What was I going to choose? Barbecue. What? Hang on, I've lost track of what's going on. Clearly. Now, I was going to change videos, is what I was meant to be doing. Yeah, interesting. Definitely, I've been through Peterborough a few times on various videos, right? Like Roseworthy to Peterborough or Peterborough to Quorn. So ended one, started one. Stayed there once. Stayed there once. Overnight at the railway carriage accommodation there. That was awesome. Been to Peterborough heaps of times, but I've never really focused on it. I went to Steamtown as well, and I don't know why, but at the time I was a little bit underwhelmed. So the plan is that when I do the Radium Hill video, I'll stay up in Peterborough, spend a bit more time talking about the Radium Hill Museum that's in Peterborough, and then we'll sort of open up to maybe something a bit more about Peterborough as well. In fact, I'd like that. A new source. Oh god. So yeah, I'd like that video about Radium Hill to include the railway, to include the old processing plant down at Port Pirie, and how all of that was connected. Yeah, it was a main interchange. Yeah, it was a huge railway town, Peterborough, and the steam town, the railway museum there still dominates the town of Peterborough. It's the main tourist attraction, and it's still very busy. You just have to look at all the caravans parked outside it every day of the year. Now, what am I doing? I was again looking for a video, but it's getting carried away. Now we go to stream stuff. That's just the folder where I store all the stuff for the stream. And we'll have a look at this preview of the work that I'm doing for the Transport Action Network. So I had planned to be finished and gotten through these 10 slides of the Transport Action Network. Now I'll bring it up too. I'll do a quick screen share right on, because it's interesting work, right? I'll do a quick screen share of the PowerPoint that I'm converting. Okay, there we go. We'll zoom back out again. It's a little bit awkward because it's set up as not a 1080 by 1920. And so, yeah, we start with the way the transport network is in Adelaide, and this is meant to feed into the state government's integrated transport strategy, the Greater Adelaide Regional Plan, and this is the inner metropolitan transport network proposal. And so we talk about the way things are now, and then we talk about the way buses are now, for example. And then we look at the strategic transport, housing and land use around the inner metropolitan area. Yeah, Steamtown looks like an place that I'd take a different view on these days, a couple of years later. No, I did not know. Well, I knew that the silver and lead was refined at Port Pirie. Wasn't so sure about the zinc, but the port there is massive at Port Pirie. So then what the plan will go on to talk about is they talk about introducing new tram lines, one radiating out to Adelaide Airport, one going out to McGill, one coming down from Grand Junction Road all the way through the city to Mitcham, to augment the existing train lines. And for the eagle-eyed people, there is a green CBD tram loop in there. We can get right into detail on what streets that runs through, for example. And then you have their proposal for a metro tunnel, which goes underground somewhere down near the West Terrace Cemetery, loops around near the Royal Adelaide Hospital, whatever they call the precinct these days, and then comes back out again somewhere near the back of the the new Royal Adelaide Hospital. I did read somewhere that during the earthworks for the Royal Adelaide Hospital, they've left a panel of earth there as a potential portal for any underground railway loop that may come. Yes, well, Tasmania's got loads of cheap electricity, that's for sure. Then we'll talk about the bus priority lanes and expanding bus priority lanes. So that's another option that the Transport Action Network proposes. So you may not necessarily want to go, if you don't want to go trams, then how about we add some priority bus lanes to make things a bit easier. At this point in time, we've opened up a few cross-city opportunities with the trams in particular, but we need to take that a little bit further. And so then we substantially increase the tram network, and we have trams then going out to Burnside. We have a new tram line running down to Marion via Plimpton and even up to Flinders. We then have the Adelaide Airport tram line then running all the way through to Henley Beach, and believe it or not, they've even got trams going along St Bernard's Road to Paradise. They could then talk about the integrating these bus priority lanes and expanding them again and superimposing that on the tram network. And then we reach the one of the final slides where we start to tie it all together. Right, we've now introduced another railway line from Hindmarsh through to Grange. We've looped the railway line from Grange up to Woodville to connect with West Lakes and Arndale. We've even got tram options now going up Lower North East Road, across OG Road, and even, yay, up Foster's Road. That'll be interesting, to Lightsview. And then you've got something called a rapid orbital, which would be a bus or a tram line running around the ring of roads, including Grand Junction, etc. And then the coup de grace, everything mixed together all at once on one tile. And you see the close alignment of the housing and the land use opportunities mixed with this massive new railway network that essentially means that Adelaide is more accessible. We have moved into the 21st century, and the world is no longer really city-centric, and we need to create a transport network that isn't city-centric. Now, I support all this and I do all the work for these guys, but God, I can't even begin to imagine how mind-bogglingly expensive this would be. Right, that's enough of that. I've got to find my OBS window again. Where's it gone? There it is. We'll go back to that. And get my media source right. Hopefully we've got it right. So this is just a silent 30-second rendering of the... Oh, g'day Kingsley, welcome aboard. I don't actually know if a line ran from Watson to Maralinga. Transshipment for Marbling. Maybe one day. I also will get out and do the transcontinental line, but that's technically not a SAR line, so I still get to claim I'm nearly there with all the SAR lines. But here you go. Here's sort of what I'm doing. This is all just bare bones. It's 2 steps forward, 1 step backward. And if I'm honest, animation is something that teams of people do, not one person. G'day, Nico. And so what I'll be doing is having someone from the Transport Action Network narrate the plan that they have, and then I'll be timing all of this animation to that plan. But as you can see, that's where I'm at with this narration so far. We could go back and do it again. There we go. And so, yeah, this is part of my volunteer work to promote and help advocate for transport and future transport options. It also keeps my head in the game with Adobe After Effects and the whole Adobe suite. Everything here is built by hand. Yeah, that's a good question, Max. That is a really good question. I think I will perhaps put that on notice and have a think about that for a live stream in the new year, where I'll actually talk through that paper and I'll actually show everybody the Transport Action Network's proposal paper for the Intermetropolitan Transport Network, and we'll talk about it more at length. And by that stage, I should have a lot more of this animation finished, and so all of the elements within that PowerPoint will have been reproduced with timing so that we can create something that's more engaging than just a PDF or a PowerPoint deck. Right. Looks good, mate. So that's where we're at the moment. Transition back to this one. Oh, maybe a transition to that one. There we go. We got the magic window with that going on in the background. I can only have one video source at a time, so yeah. Right. Let's do this. We've been going for 45 minutes tonight. I didn't think I'd have that much stuff to talk about, but thank you to everybody in the chat room. It's been really lively tonight, I should say. It's probably still today in WA. The Mats plan, yeah, that goes back, and this is a little bit like that, but without the roads. I have one more thing to clarify. That's right. Memberships. So I started up memberships the other week, and I've started promoting memberships as well. And I just want to make it really clear that nothing is going to change on my channel. I'm not going to be putting anything behind a paywall. There is perhaps the idea that down the track we might offer, if I'm able to make it, I might offer something a little deeper for members, but we just really have to see how that goes. G'day, Jaximus Jr. 96. Smash the like button. You've just made it in. We're just finishing up now, and I'm just explaining memberships. So I've set up 3 levels of memberships, and it still is a bit of an ambit claim, I guess. But if you don't ask, you don't get, right? And it is getting to the point where these videos are costing more and more and more. I'm not just going down to my local park and making videos of the bugs that crawl in the bushes there. It actually costs a fair bit of money, and I'm putting a lot more time into it now. So it would be great if people would support me, right? But it really doesn't bother me one way or the other. Right, this is just a place for people to lob a few bucks here and there, or make a support of $5 a month or whatever, just to add to the advertising revenue that I'm earning, and it's sort of keeping the channel going in terms of covering maybe even just a quarter of the costs. It's giving me a great excuse to to tell my wife that I need to go out and make videos and stuff. So if I was getting paid for it, that'd be an even better excuse, and I could spend even more time out there. It's not for me to say where people are financially, or where they are with supporting people, or how cool they are with supporting people online or not, but creators deserve to be able to ask and to be able to start to get paid for what they do after a little while. That is why I spent 4 years at uni after all. So yeah, that's my little thing on memberships. Nothing will change, particularly the core of people that are here in this chat room right now have been so supportive of me, right from 111 weeks ago, right from even before that, and I couldn't even, I can't even pay for that level of support. So I would never expect or put all of a sudden go put all this behind a paywall and just expect you all to, start paying $5 a month or whatever. Hey, you can even support me with $30 a month if you're rich. Again, it's not for me to say what position people are in and how much support they're prepared to give. And so it's a brave new world there for me too. It's really important that, again, everybody knows that the main game of Outdoors Type is not going to change. The videos, the live chats, the shorts, the community, all of that kind of stuff. Just playing around with it. And if you're in the position to support and you're somewhat so enamored that you want to chuck some dollars in, which I've done for many channels, right? Particularly through super chats right across here and Twitch and all that. There's nothing new about this donations or subscriptions game at all. So again, thank you for putting up with that little rant at the end, even though I put the "that's all folks" up. So I want to thank everybody for coming on board. You guys are so super important, and basically as much a part of the channel as I am, which is weird, but there you go. So Kingsley, Max, was it Neville? Sorry, Noel. That's right, Noel. Thank you in Coffs Harbour. Jaximus, Manly Tours. Thank you for coming on board, sir. We've got Nico who came on board. We go back to, where are we? Graham Dory, thank you again. Always bringing good discussions and questions to the table there for all of us to answer. JK, erstwhile producer, first one to catch me out when there's no bloody sound as usual. We've had Harvey on board as well. Thanks for the great questions to the chat tonight. Really appreciate that. Fires things up and gives us all stuff to talk about. Mr. Steve Klink, thank you. I'll chat again to you soon, mate. Who else we had? Plane Train Guy and Re-L. I'm really sorry if I missed anybody there. I just kind of scroll back, and sometimes I might miss some people, and I didn't mean to, right? Any rate, this has been Good Chats for the Wednesday before Christmas. Next week, we'll be coming to you with a very small chat from Christmas dinner at my in-laws' place. And maybe even on Friday, there'll be a bonus stream from Tailem Bend as the sun sets. I'll let you know in the community chat and on Facebook what's happening with that. But it'll probably be around the same time, 8:15. So thanks for joining me again this week, folks. We'll see you next week and every other week after that as well at 8:15 p.m. Cheers.